So here's a fun one. This guy is asking, here, let's actually pull it up. I was requested, hi, Rudder, can I ask you to add animation on one model? Who need Tauren Chieftain animation? Is enough if you just give him walk and attack. If you can please add animations to it. We have a link to this guy, Chaos Tauren. It looks great. It looks like he made it from a Tauren Chieftain. So then I opened it up, you know, and of course it's not animated like we expect, but it also is not rigged at all, so it has no skeleton, right? So this is the kind of fun thing that we get to do. Basically, what we need to do is re-rig it, which means this is going to take way longer than it would otherwise. But that is just what happens. So I'm basically just gonna import in the rigging anyway. I guess for those of you who are probably wondering what I'm doing, let's see if I can actually change the screen resolution here so you guys see it a little better. Alright. Great, that looks pretty good, right? Okay, we've just done some substantial modifications to the building process of Red Model Studio, so hopefully this will just work you know, how you'd want it to here. But yeah, so we're doing an import. Let's hopefully this won't fail. And our intention is I'm gonna start with rigging it to the Tauren Chieftain rig. Obviously we have to do that, otherwise we're not going to be able to use it. I also don't know if he wants hero glow or not. I guess we'll assume he doesn't starting off, so we probably don't need the hero bones. Those are just going to get in the way. We'll need all the objects, because I'm guessing it doesn't have any of those. And yeah, this thing default's just going to stay how it is. The mesh here, apparently it's broken in 10 geosets. Tauren Chieftain, I guess, doesn't really have any visibility, so that's pretty easy for us there as far as that. The ribbon would be not visible and existing, but that doesn't even matter really. We're just going to delete those, so we'll just leave it. Alright, great. So I'm going to click Finish. So obviously that brings in a huge amount of data, and we can see already that this dude isn't even the same. It's not as much like the Tauren Chieftain as you'd think it was when you look at it, right? It's not the same height. Not really at all. So if we go to the animation editor, you can see now the Tauren Chieftain rig is there and it's animated. And I'm getting the distinct impression that we're not transferring over the something about the interp type of the animation. So I'm going to try saving. This is because we had some substantial modifications to the code base here going on. So this is Chaos Tauren plus Chieftain skeleton. Alright, great. Let's save that and have a look. Great. Alright, here we go. I'm going to open that folder. Sorry, it came up on the other monitor. So yeah, what we want to basically do is open this with Notepad and have a look at it. That's pretty good thing for us to do right now. So yeah, let's do that. My Notepad takes a little while to load. That's because I have too many documents open. You don't want to do that. You don't want to have that many documents open. I advise closing some of them. It would be very wise. It would be very, very wise. So we just gotta wait a little bit for this Notepad. That's getting pretty boring. So in the meantime, yeah, I wonder if we have any other way to fix the interp type. I guess we really don't. We could try to click the linearize button kind of as a joke. I wonder if that would fix it. That probably won't fix it though, actually. Optimize linearize animations. Let's see. Is it? Yeah, it didn't even become linear. It's still jumping all around. So that's busted. Oh, hey, cool. This finally opened. Alright, so what I was mostly curious about is just if we go to, bone root over here. Ooh, there's no bone root. Okay. Bone anything. Alright, bone anything. They are actually set to don't interp, so this is not a matter of bad rendering. It is actually damaging the model substantially, it looks like, in what we're doing. So, yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting. We obviously want to fix that because that's kind of unacceptable. So I'm using a different code editor recently. So I think I'm going to put the resolution back while I edit this code, because we need to do a good job here. So basically the problem is, every time this stuff happens, we've got complicated code maintenance we got to do just to be able to use the friggin' software. So let's check this out here. I think the problem would be that, first off, can I even open the Tauren chieftain and save him back without bust? Let's see. So here's the Tauren chieftain. So obviously he's using non-interp animation. That's good. Now let me just save this as Tauren chieftain. Tauren chieftain.mdl. Great. So we're gonna check that guy out. So in this guy, let's go to that same node, go to the same bonehead, right? Pop that in here. We search it out. You can see it's Hermite and has intan outtan. So to me, what this means is that somebody broke my animation importer in the import panel when I actually merged things. I don't know how they did that, but we got multiple people in the code base now, so got stuff going on. So to that end, during the import, this has a do import function, right? Do import going on here. Do import in the import panel. Yeah. Cool. So what this does is it actually transfers the animations from one model to the other model, and when it's doing that, we start off by actually transferring into a totally new set of anim flags. So that's probably the issue, is that when we create the new anim flags, presumably build empty from, it's probably failing. Now this would be presumably because I think the guy who was working on this code, and I'm trying to be, doing a good job being sociable. We're going to use his changes anyway. He added some notion in here of interpolation type, which points out that some of this other junk that we have shouldn't be there. An interpolation type is defaulting to don't interp. So in build empty from, the mistake is that na.interpolation type needs to equal af.interpolation type, and this will let us copy over the interpolation type and basically solve the problem, I would assume. Yeah, so let's give that one a shot. Let's try that. That might just fix our issue. This other guy who was in the code base is pretty smart, so he might have done everything else right except that. I don't really know. I'm going to be looking for intans and outtans. I'm assuming that they just weren't there because we were in the different interpolation mode. We're building this on Java 14 out of IntelliJ. It's completely different. And there's only one code project, so other people can actually find out what's going on. So, should hopefully be pretty easy. It means we got to do our import process again. So, I'm used to from workspace, but actually we're not going to import from workspace today. We're going to import from a unit. And that unit is going to be the orc Tauren chieftain. Alright, great. Now we'll start again, sort of where we started off at the beginning of the video. We could go back to a resolution that our viewers could actually sort of experience there too. Great, so we're importing Tauren chieftain into Scary Guy again. We're going to clear pre-existing animations, take all the bones, take all the objects. We're trying to keep it simple here. I think we just click finish. I think that ought to do it. Of course I forgot and got the mesh. That's just silly. Alright, let's just do it again. Yeah, so here's Scary Guy. That actually looked like the resolution doesn't work right after I changed the widescreen, so let me just launch it again. It'll recompute there what it's trying to do. Okay, great. Cool. Open recent Scary Guy. Here's our guy. So, file import, unit, orc, Tauren chieftain. Let's try this. Let's try this once more. Great. So we're going to leave the geometry. That was the mistake I made last time. We are going to clear existing animations. So we'll bring in only the Tauren chieftain animations to replace what was there before. We'll click finish, and bam. All right, now we have Tauren animations, but he's still not rigged, so you can't see them, right? And this is where if I go in the animation editor, you can see now he actually animates like a Tauren. It looks pretty promising. So I would say we can actually save this over what we made before, Chaos Tauren plus Chieftain Skeleton. We'll just overwrite it. This is going to ask me to load it again, and you can see we have intans and outtans now, and like Hermite. Okay, that's great. So I think we've essentially fixed our problem. Great. So now that we did that, what we want to do is make any of these animations relevant to this guy, right? Because you can see here, when I move the slider, like the data's there for how to move, but he's not moving, right? So we're just going to have to fix that with the little rig function. So We could exit the animation editor, and maybe you could even like full screen this thing. But I guess one of the hard parts really is it's kind of like we want to turn off all the nodes, and we probably don't need bone default that was there before, so I'm going to delete that. But while the nodes are off, you see the guy, and we can see the nodes which don't even fit the guy anymore. So I think we want to get all those nodes selected like that, and then we want to try to like make them expand to fit the guy as much as possible. And if you think about this as a possible frame of reference, one thing that we could do at the same time would be to actually open an internal unit and just actually pull up the Tauren Chieftain in a separate tab with the nodes, so you can see, right, that the Tauren Chieftain nodes, like the tail nodes are on the tail, the leg nodes are on the leg, so it's all supposed to line up. So if we go back to Scary Guy, like we just want it to basically line up the same, which of course is going to be a little bit hard to do, granted that he's a little bit different in shape, you know, like Tauren Chieftain's head is here. I guess this stuff is like his beard. So Scary Guy doesn't even really have a beard, so he's not going to really need any of that stuff. But it doesn't all necessarily line up exactly, right? You know, you look at this and he's close, but he's not exactly the right size and shape. So we're going to be definitely doing some experimenting here, but let's start with some of this, I guess. So here's axe free. That's interesting. I didn't really know. Does the Tauren Chieftain have like free axe and not free axe? Are there two axes? There's only one axe, so that kind of suggests that bone axe free might just actually literally be the axe. Let's see. Oh, it's on horn wrap. That's even more weird. Axe? Oh, maybe this thing is axe. Okay, tool selected. That's on axe. Okay. So, bone axe free has axe as a subcomponent. Cool. So, Scary Guy. Alright, here's what we want to do first. We'll go to select connected component, and we'll try to select some of these. Yeah, and basically get the axe going on there. And then I think we want to select yeah, basically just the axe, right? And we want to rig. Oh, somehow that deselected my other stuff. Alright, yeah, anyway, basically we want to just Control W that, and that should rig the axe now that you know, he actually has the axe like the chieftain. You know, and he'll swing it. Of course, you know, it doesn't look good when you don't have the rest of the Tauren Chieftain, and I almost think the axe might not be in quite the orientation that it was on the original Tauren Chieftain. So this does point out a problem, which is that the original Tauren Chieftain's axe is pointed towards us, whereas Scary Guy's axe is pointed straight ahead. So we probably want to take the axe and try to rotate it, if possible, to basically match with that. So that would be the idea, is we do this and we put it right back in his hand, right? We don't really want to change the model's design, we just want to change the animation. So in terms of where it was right here in his hand. So now if I'm going to do this, it shouldn't be much different. We want it to be kind of like here in his hand. Something like that, looking hopefully close to how it looked before, with the idea that it'll be at hopefully the same angle as the Tauren Chieftain. Something like that, maybe. So then we got to deal with sort of all the rest of him. So there's a lot of other stuff going on in this model. Let's see, right? I mean, if we go by, yeah, sort of like bone chest. I wonder how much we pick up if we select his main section there. So obviously that as a connected group is more than we could ever want it to be. So we're probably going to have to do this at the vertex level, I guess. And I don't know, do we start with the hands or the feet? You could definitely pick one. You could do your favorite, but maybe we'll start with the feet. So let's see, that's the arms. It's the neck and head. So it's all going to be in pelvis. That makes sense. Alright, so leg, and the tail. You know, the tail's a good one because that's pretty straightforward, right? I'm pretty sure tail as they go outward. We really need a way to just see the names. Someone was telling me this earlier, that we should have a way to just see the names on the tail, but But yeah, so I think pretty much they go in increasing numeric value. And I'm used to having to think about the names, but actually we might be able to just do Control W on these. I wonder. Let's see, yeah, so like this would just go on there, I guess. I don't even know if this even needs to be on the tail. Beyond that, maybe this could be like the two of those, but the rest of these, I would say, are probably going to be on something else, like just pelvis. So now he's going to look, of course, really terrible because we've started moving like his tail or something, but we haven't really done much with the rest of him. You know, because he just needs, everything needs to get rigged. We have to rig everything, so yeah, I guess we got to hit the feet. Let's see. Kind of have the 2 feet there. I'm assuming this kind of all goes with that, you know, that we do some on there, maybe like there. That's doing something crazy, but yeah, let's try to get that, and let's see if we can get like that. I wonder if that should be like between both though, because then, I mean, it sure seems like the back of these is going to be like there, and then the back of these. And if you select that one. That way his feet are rigged, so he should kind of, you know, he starts to walk, except it doesn't look right. It didn't rig the right hand foot. Alright. Well, you know, you can't win them all. Wait a minute, I just rigged you. What are you playing at, foot? Didn't rig. Like, if I rigged it up there, it should have walked just the same, right? Yeah, so why does the other foot not move? We need to make backups of this guy in case we break anything, you know? Alright, well, so it's true. I didn't somehow rig his, whatever that top of his foot there. Just kind of interesting, you know? Like, I sort of thought I had, but I guess not. right leg. There's the rest of his legs. So I guess this would be like everything is on that point, and then this stuff is probably already good to go. Is this guy made of mini geosets? I wonder if we could turn on only the legs. Oh yeah, there we go. That's pretty great. Okay. We probably got most of that other stuff, but then we got this stuff here. And I guess the gist of it would be that like this stuff would be sort of on both of these. Maybe like break that and do it again. Going the other way. Make that. Did I do both or just the one side? Kind of looks like I was getting both. Yeah. There you go. You can see he's starting to be able to move. Let's see. What's that little front cloth thing? Yeah, this cloth thing. There we go. That thing needs to animate better. I guess this and this have to go together. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I messed this one up. Alright, let's see. And do something like that, I guess. Let's see, when he walks. See, now this little cloth out in front of him is kind of doing its thing. Doesn't really fix his legs, though. They're doing something else. I wonder if we could like select faces, you know, like try to select faces. Just get all this stuff. I think I just killed that part of his leg. Maybe not. So what we really want to do is like bind it on here and here, and mostly the upper one. I was pretty sure we kind of already accounted for some of this stuff, but yeah, I guess maybe we'll do that. And we could try to do the same thing over here. Basically just trying to get as much of this stuff as possible. And then convert selection to point select, you know. And then try to get it on his legs. How bad is that? It's getting better, but he's still ugly. Oh yeah, like this one has a point just floating in space there. Right side innermost leg joint thing. There we go. So this one clearly didn't get the memo. There we go. So that's getting better. Oh, there's another one. A little joint. The inner side of that same joint, really. So that would be like right here. Oh, no, that would be like right here. Which Which is actually pretty weird that that doesn't somehow find its way between either the cloth or the legs. Alright, so I think we've mostly animated his legs. So the next thing we're going to have to do is start to animate his body, like belly area. You know, which we did a little of that before. Because like this stuff, you know, is probably going to go on... and you can also do this with reassign matrix, right? But it's kind of like you could go either way. Surely one of these things is stuck on the pelvis. Yeah, there we go. Either one of those, or that, or just, yeah, there we go, pelvis. So then you go up to the rest of this stuff, and a lot of times, a lot of the center area is like all on the linked to the chest. But again, this all gets so much harder when you have to deal with the questions about how's it going to animate, what are you going to make it do, you know? Like bone chest there. So this starts to work. It starts to be workable. But again, I didn't fix his arms, I didn't fix his head, I didn't even fix the chain things going across his front there. So we probably got to fix those too, which points out we got to start bringing back more of these. The head, you know, here's an easy thing about the head that's always kind of nice. If you just link this and you just see where it says, let's see, yeah, brow, eye, cheek, mostly just head. There we go. So that's his head. But, yeah, let's see. This would also be on his head, I guess. Unless you think that should be on his eyes. We'll get back to it. Let's see. Like, this is also chest and back. Until we do more. You know? So this is pretty simple. Uppermost left arm. And uppermost right arm. And then you got to deal with the chain across there, right? So the chain is like, most of it's going to be on his chest, and then somewhere in the middle of the chain links it's going to change over to be like on his arm, probably, you know? And I think that's the key, is that you can even have like some area between, maybe, that attaches to both, as the average of both. But I guess we'll start with upper arm L, and this part's going to be upper arm R. Right? So now we have this chain where you can see the chain is sort of attached to his arm there, but the chain is like just breaking. You know, it's just breaking off. And the way to fix that is to use motion averages, I think. So what we're going to do is have this chain link be the average of the chest and the upper right arm, you know? And then we're going to have this chain link be the average of the chest and the upper left arm. And I feel like that's going to make that a lot better. Right, because now, like, as the one chain link moves, it kind of moves the other chain link a little bit. It's just a little bit more reasonable. So I think things are starting to get really good, but you can see I haven't animated his arms yet, and he's got a chain on his back, and I've really not done that thing justice, have I? Yeah. Interesting. So I guess I was mostly focused on the chain on his front there. Let's say for the chain on his back, we're going to do it a different way. We're going to make it less active, and by doing that, we're basically going to try to put back what I was doing. Just put everything here on the... sorry, this is only supposed to be on the back. We're going to put everything there on the chest again, and then we're going to try to make the motion averages be used only for the upper portion. So be upper right and chest averaged. And then this portion here, only in the back, upper left and chest averaged. And I'm hoping that'll make the chains on his back not be so ridiculous. Oh, they are a little ridiculous. Okay, so that one is clearly stretching out in a way that we don't really want. But what do we want? You know, that's the question. What if we try to assign these the average? Chest, upper arm, left arm, upper right arm. You know, and then chest, upper left arm. Maybe this is chest and upper right arm. It still is interesting. It's not as bad now, but it's interesting. Let's try to get his arms. It's really throwing me off how crazy his arms look there. So we got that. We got whatever this thing is. I guess this is all part of the weapon, and we animated that already, so that's good. So yeah, just the arms. Cool. So yeah, for that one, hopefully that's going to be straightforward. It's almost like you could just go in here and turn it on. You know, just like to link that up maybe. I'm using the hotkey, by the way, Control W, that I put in here that's supposed to let me just basically auto-link these things. So I just kind of select them as a little bundle there and hit Control W. And the idea would be that it's faster than you know, manually picking them out, which is probably true, honestly. So, there are some interesting points as he's moving. Seem to be the spikes off of his arms. I'm not sure if it is those, though. Alright, I'm going to try to fix the data here. Oh, that's interesting how different that is. Seems wrong. figure out what that thing is attached to. Is it one of these? Hey, that's a lot better. Alright. And I guess it's interesting that obviously some of that doesn't line up. I wonder. Well, let's save a backup of it. What does this guy do? It's interesting. He's got his arm moving opposite that. These. Oh, but they're, you can't use them. You can only use that one. So I guess that's part of it. I get the impression that they did this. And maybe that's okay for us to do that as well. To try to make him just have his arm together a bit more. A little bit. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Now I'm noting the connection between these two seems a bit off. So I think for that, I'm going to try to put in here an average. That way, it just looks attached, doesn't look broken. Well, alright, let me try saving another copy of that, and I wonder, I should be able to launch the old one of these. I just got to delete this tool Windows settings file in the registry. Okay, great. That'll mean I can launch whatever I want to. So we should be able to go to like one of these and make a little map. Interesting. Alright, there we go. Yeah, so just import our guy. Boop. Save it. Always gotta save it on these old versions. Let's see. Even sometimes if you save it a second time for good measure, it can make things even better. Yeah, and then we just go to one of these guys, Tauren Chieftain, and we just try sticking it on there and see how that goes. See if it works. Typically, you know, in this world, things don't always work the first time, but it's looking, it's kind of looking better than I was afraid it might. So that's pretty good. Yeah, we'll put them around some of these, and let's give it a little test. Should load up there in a moment or two. Cool. So, frequently with these things, I'm more interested in the principle than actually the execution. And obviously, if you were an artist and you wanted to go and like fix that axe or something, you could probably do that. But you know, I mean, I think in general, looks like it's working. So yeah, I think I'll probably end the video there and send this file to this guy. So yeah, good luck.
My ancestors.